Electro.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Pac-Man Trolls here with another Magic the Gathering deck tech. Today we'll be going over my brother's Sliver deck. So we're going to get this started with the land. We start out with 2 Sun Petal Groves. They enter the battlefield tapped unless you control a forest or a plains, and they add a green or a white to your pool, of course. So 2 of those. We have 3 Rootbound Craigs, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows about. Rootbound Crag. They enter the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain or a forest, and they're red or green. We've done this in our werewolf deck. We have 4 Temple Gardens, which they enter the battlefield tapped unless you pay 2 life. If you do, it doesn't enter the battlefield tapped. And they add a green or a white to your pool. 4 of those, which you guys can see here. So 4 Temple Gardens. We have 4 Stomping Grounds, which again, they enter the battlefield tapped unless you pay 2 life, and then they add a red or a green mana to your pool. Stomping Ground, 4 of those. And we have 4 Sacred Foundries, which again, enter the battlefield tapped unless you pay 2 life, add a red or a white to your pool. And then we have, for our other lands, our colorless lands basically, we have Mutavolt. Adds 1 colorless mana to your pool for 1 mana of any color, or colorless. It becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types until the end of turn, and it's still a land. So 3 of those. And 4 Cavern of Souls. As they enter the battlefield, you choose a creature type. So in this case, you'd be choosing Sliver because it's a Sliver deck, and it adds 1 mana of colorless mana to your pool, and it can tap, add 1 mana of any color to your pool. Spend that mana only on creature spells of the chosen type, and the spell can't be countered. So with these, you're going to cast the Sliver with any color, and the Sliver can't be countered. So in the end, a great card. For our creatures, we're getting into them now. We have our Venom Sliver. We're going to add probably more of these sometime in the near future, probably. Green and a colorless. And what it does is Sliver creatures you control have Death Touch, and it's a 1/1. Then you got your Sentinel Slivers, which are 3 of those for 1 white and a colorless. They give your Slivers Vigilance, and they're 2/2. So all Slivers will be able to attack without tapping. Then we got our Predatory Slivers, which are a very big thing in the deck here. 4 of those Sliver creatures you control get a +1/+1, a green and a colorless. So it's actually a 2/2 because all Slivers get +1/+1 build up. This deck's very brutal. We have our Mana Weft Sliver, 1 colorless and 1 green. Adds Sliver creatures can be tapped for any mana of any color to your pool. And they're a 1/1, so they'll help getting creatures out and everything. We have 1 on our 3-drop here. Belligerent Sliver, 1 red, 2 colorless. Sliver creatures you control have the ability to where they cannot be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, and they're a 2/2. So all Slivers have to be blocked by at least 2 creatures, and that's just deadly. Got 4 of the Blur Slivers, 1 red and 2 colorless. Sliver creatures you control have haste, so they'll be able to attack immediately. And they're a 2/2. So every Sliver you have has haste. Steel Form, these are questionable. I don't know, but they're still good. Sliver creatures you control get a +1 attack. It's 1 white and 2 colorless, and it's a 2/2. Or a +1 defense. So they have a defense, upgraded to help blocking. And with Vigilance, they're going to be blocking anyway because they don't tap when they attack. Then we have the Bone Scythe Sliver, which is a very good one indeed. Sliver creatures you control get a double strike, so they hit first strike, and then they hit again. 2/2, and it's for 1 white and 3 colorless. We got 3 of those. We've got 4 Thorncaster Slivers. These are really good ones. You tap a red and 4 colorless. And Sliver creatures you control have, whenever the creature attacks, deals 1 damage to the creature or the player. And it's a 2/2. So, Every time a Sliver attacks, you can have it deal 1 damage to a player. Then we got the Megantic Sliver here. We got 3 of them. 1 green and 5 colorless. Sliver creatures you control get a +3/+3. And he's a 3/3, but since Sliver creatures you control get a +3/+3, he's a 6/6. So are all your other Slivers, they'll boost up like crazy. We're going to get into I believe, alright, cool. Last Sliver here is Ground Shaker Sliver. For 1 green and 6 colorless, all your Slivers get trample, and it's a 5/5. Now, with everything being built up, with all the +1/+1s and everything like that, that's a deadly card. Then we got our sorceries coming up here. We have Bonfire of the Damned for 1 red, an X amount of mana, and another X amount of mana. It deals X damage to a target player and each creature he or she controls. For a miracle cost, you can only tap 1 red and, however, only 1 of the X mana. But it's still a really good card. And then for another sorcery we have here, this helps out. Hive Steerings, we have, man, my nose itches, 2, and that's 1 white and 2 colorless, and you put 2 1/1 Sliver tokens out. And then we have another sorcery here, 1 drop red, Pillar of Flame, deals 2 damage to a target creature or player, and if a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. 3 of those, as you guys can see. Then we get into our Planeswalkers. We have 3 Domri Raids. These are great cards. 1 red, 1 colorless, and 1 green. +1, you can look at the top card of your library. And if it's a creature card, you can put it into your hand. And then you got -2, target creature you control fights another target creature. -7, you get the emblem, where creatures you control have double strike, trample, hexproof, and haste. So spells can't affect them, trample, hexproof, haste, all that. We have a Johnny Mentor of Heroes. 1 white, 1 green, 3 colorless. Gets a +1. It puts 3 +1/+1s onto 3 target creatures. Either put 1, 2, or 3 creatures you control. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may put an aura, creature, or planeswalker from among them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom in any order. Then, of course, -8, you gain 100 life. So, yeah, great card to have. And our last Planeswalker is Garruk, Color of Beast. 2 green, 4 colorless. +1, you can reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your hand, and the rest on bottom in any order. You may put a -3, you may put a green creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. -7, you get an emblem whenever you cast a spell. A creature spell, you may search your library for a creature card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. So that's a really good card to have. Then we have 4, getting in our instance, we have 4 Boros Charm. 1 red, 1 white. Creatures you can choose either one of these abilities. It deals 4 damage to a target player, or permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn, or target creature gains double strike until end of turn. 4 of those, as you guys can see, right there. Those are good cards to have in the deck. Then we have our 2 Purify the Grave. 1 white, exile target card from a graveyard. Flashback for 1 white. So, 2 of those to exile cards from graveyards. That way they can't bring them back. Then we have 3 Door to Destinies. 4 colorless. Great card to have in here as it comes into play. Mention a creature type, Sliver in this case. Whenever you play a spell of that type, you put a charge counter on Door to Destinies. Creatures you control of that type get a +1/+1 for each charge counter on Door to Destinies. So it just builds up your Slivers like crazy. We have 3 of those, by the way, guys. 3 of them. Right there. Trying to get in again. Alright. For our enchantments, we have 1 Oblivion Ring. It's a white and 2 colorless. It enters the battlefield, you exile another target non-land permanent. When it leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So it just exiles the card, and it's pretty much useless. We have our last card. Enchantment, Primeval Bounty. 1 green, 5 colorless. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you put the 3/3 green beast token out on the field. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you put up 3 +1/+1s on a creature you control, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life. Baby, chill. That's my dog. Anyway, but yeah, that's our deck tech for our slivers. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Pac-Man Trolls is out. Electro.